Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for, well, we normally say which round it is, but Championship preview and predictions midweek, basically, because we're having a bit of a catch-up this week. It's all about postponed games and teams making up some games in hand. So, as you can see across the bottom there, we've only got 4 games to deal with, but deal with them we must, as is our will here on the channel. And so we go a little bit longer. We'll do some Q&A. We talk about whatever the hell you want to round things out. Let me know that you can see me, hear me loudly and clearly, and we will get into our 4 games, which are of quite some importance when you do see the teams who are involved. Before we get into that, let me just do my normal thank yous and plugs, and we'll talk about each and every game. Say hi in the comments, and I'll get to you imminently. Because it's a preview show, we need to say thank you to the Donovan brothers who sponsored the show in loving memory of Michael Donovan, a South East London lifelong Millwall fan and admirer of these shows. Thank you as ever to the Donovans. You too can get involved in supporting the channel over on Patreon. Subscribe via Patreon. Exclusive shows. We've got another Classics Reviews coming up, and it'll be the shout out for the weekly Patreon exclusive Q&A that will go out on Thursday as well. You can also support via Super Chat any point in the broadcast. Become the king of the bin. And if you haven't already, wherever you're watching, hit the thumbs up, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and subscribe and ring the bell on YouTube. What's going on in the comments? Hello to everybody. Liam, JN. Yes, everyone's either getting a haircut or going to the pub, aren't they? Nice. Amanda, Sophie, Phil, Annie, Kieran, Leeds 2021, George, Iain, Philip, Kieran, anyone else? Steve, Alistair. We got anything here? Chris. Guys, please, I beg of you guys, if the picture isn't perfect, just be patient, okay? Please don't stuff the comments up with it's blurry, yeah? Please, this is me begging. It's so tedious, I promise. Please. Who else can we say hi to? Chris, Robin, Chevron, Joe, Ewan, Kieran, Mike, Lee. There we go. Right, let's get into these fixtures this week. Now, we would normally be able to bring up the round, but we'll have to sort by date. So we have tonight 3 games, and then we've got one on Thursday as well. Okay, so we've got literally 2 Rotherham games to talk about. We're going to have to make predictions for both of them. So Huddersfield Bournemouth tonight at 5:30. Then at 6 o'clock tonight, Sheffield Wednesday v Swansea. So 2 teams in the top 6 already and 2 teams in the bottom 6. Then Rotherham versus QPR, game number 2 of the crazy Rotherham week. And then we're going to be predicting 2 Rotherham games in a row. It's Rotherham Coventry on Thursday, which will be a watch along. We will do Q&A on anything you want after we've gone through these 4 games. So let's go first to Huddersfield versus Bournemouth. Get your predictions in for this one. All I need to hear is Huddersfield, draw, or Bournemouth. Get your predictions in via the comments. Huddersfield, draw, or Bournemouth. Okay. As you can see, Bournemouth up in 6th position. 4 wins on the trot. Hitting form at a decent time in the season. Looks like Woodgate's got the selection kind of stable. And the results are better than stable, aren't they? With the 4 straight wins, meaning that Bournemouth will have already gone above Reading, but could stick a 5-point gap between themselves and Reading with just 5 games to go this season. Huddersfield, well, they're not losing many games, but no wins in 4 for the Terriers. They had a key game against Rotherham at the weekend, which ended in a goalless draw. So that was a good chance, maybe somewhat wasted for Huddersfield in terms of they really could have put the hammer down against a direct rival. But they do still remain 8 points above the drop. Worst case scenario for Huddersfield is a defeat against Bournemouth and a Rotherham win. And they are then, of course, 5 points above the drop, and Rotherham would have 2 games in hand. But a lot of our Rotherham hypothesising involves Rotherham winning lots of games. Keep your predictions coming in, guys. I'll get to them in a minute. Huddersfield, draw, or Bournemouth is all you need to tell me. Let's look at the homes and aways. Huddersfield's home form. Again, I'll repeat what I said. They're not losing, are they? 4 consecutive draws for Huddersfield at home of late. And given some of the opponents, Rotherham was a tight sort of bottom 6 clash, but they've drawn with Brentford, they've drawn with Cardiff. That was at a point when Cardiff were winning a lot. Birmingham, that will be pre-Bowyer. And then there's the 4-1 win over Swansea, which was quite the turn-up at the time. In terms of away form, Bournemouth, decent as well, only 1 defeat in 5. 7 points in 3 as well recently, drawing at Preston, beating Blackburn and beating Bristol City. Shall we see what you guys are saying in the comments? Right. Okay. Bournemouth, draw. Bournemouth, Parachute Cartel. You can still find them. Bournemouth away is Bournemouth, isn't it? Bournemouth. Huddersfield, tough to beat at home. You've got to give me a prediction there, Iain. Away, Bournemouth, draw. Huddersfield, Bournemouth. Well, we're heavily behind Bournemouth in this one. I don't know why I haven't gone Sheffield Wednesday and Swansea first. There we go. But hey-ho, it was the first one in terms of what time it's going to be played. Well, go on then. I'll go with you guys. Away, Bournemouth to get a 5th straight win, which would not be good news for Reading and would not be good news for Huddersfield at all. Right, let's go back 1 in the running order and go to Sheffield Wednesday versus Swansea. Sheffield Wednesday versus Swansea is tonight. Get your predictions in. All you need to tell me is Sheffield Wednesday, draw, or Swansea. Get your predictions in for this one. Sheffield Wednesday, draw, or Swansea. Write the teams in rather than home and away because we all get a little bit confused. Jerry with a massive super chat. Thank you very, very much, sir. Very, very kind. I will drink to that. Thank you, Jerry. Hugely kind super chat. You can also support. Right. Swansea bounced back somewhat from their recent hugely poor run of form. With a great win against Millwall in the watch-along on Saturday. 3-0 win. And they looked far more like the Swansea that had got them, into, real automatic contention earlier on in the season. Lowe and Mayhew looked at it again. It was a back 4. Wayne Routledge started as well. So lots of sort of tweaks made by Steve Cooper then, but it worked. And both Brentford and Swansea got wins, didn't they, on Saturday? Sheffield Wednesday just all over the place, aren't they, in terms of the actual results? They lost 4-1 to QPR on Saturday, that having beaten Sheffield Wednesday 5-0 the game before, lost to Watford the game before that, won away informed Barnsley the game before that. Bit confusing, Sheffield Wednesday, creating far more chances than they have at any other point in the season, the underlying numbers tell us. But it still feels very, very erratic, doesn't it, for Sheffield Wednesday? But 1.5 points per game if you keep win, lose, win, lose, win, lose. Well, when do they run out and get another 3 wins if they did, which would take them to 44 points? Who knows? 45 to survive is the 10-year average. Keep your predictions coming in. Sheffield Wednesday, draw or Swansea, please. The home form for Wednesday, 14th in the table. They've picked up a fair amount of points at home, haven't they? 27 from 19, which is obviously not relegation form if you completely just isolate it as home form. And 4 points in the last 2. In terms of Swansea and the away form, well, the 2 defeats in there on the horrible run against Bournemouth and Birmingham, but they're sandwiched with wins at Luton and Millwall. Let's see what you guys are saying in the comments on this one. Sheffield Wednesday versus Swansea. Difficult one to call, this one at the moment. Right, what are we saying? Draw, Wednesday, home, Wednesday, draw. Swansea, draw. Thank you, Jerry. Very, very kind. A huge super chat from Jerry. Very kind indeed. Wednesday. Tonight. Yeah. La, tonight. Trying to think which tonight. There's about 8 songs called Tonight, aren't they? It's a good one by Elton John, actually, on the Blue Moves album, for anyone who nerds in the same way I do. Swans, Wednesday. Swans, Wednesday. Bang through all of these guys. I won't read all of them, but let's get them on the screen. I'm a bit torn on this one. If Swansea have truly turned the corner, then they'll go there and win, won't they? I just wonder whether it might be a bit tight and we might be in unhelpful draw territory here. I remain unconvinced. I am going to go draw. Let's go for a draw. I don't know why, but we're going to do it. Right. Let's get into Rotherham mode now, because we're literally going to do 2 Rotherham games. We're going to do the Tuesday night Rotherham game against QPR, and then the Thursday night Rotherham game over Coventry. And good luck is all I'll say with this one, because we have no idea how Paul Vaughan is going to play this, as to whether he essentially rests lots of players tonight to focus on the Coventry game, or whether he desperately needs 3 points, however the hell he can get them. So we are doing Rotherham QPR first. So get your predictions in. Rotherham versus QPR. All I need is Rotherham, draw, or QPR. I've no idea. Absolutely no idea what's going to happen in this. QPR could do anything. They're in good form, but they are well and truly on the beach making sandcastles, aren't they? They're right in the middle of the table. So anything can happen. And you can see with Rangers, lots of wins in there, but then a defeat against Forest away. I don't know. Feels like they could turn up there and win 3-0 or turn up there and lose 3-0. And Rotherham, I don't know what they're going to do. Can they afford to focus on the Coventry game? Because they're going to look very silly if they do maybe rest a couple of players. They're going to have to play 2 games in, adjacent days with just 1 day gap in between. I don't know what they're going to do in terms of selection. Maybe they'll just try and go hell for leather through all of the games and think about it afterwards. I don't know. Home form for Rotherham is awful, isn't it? Since Lee Bowyer turned up at Birmingham, That's marooned Rotherham. At the bottom of the home table, they are the worst home team in the league. 15 points all season for Rotherham. QPR's away form is actually not great either. Only 5 away wins all season. Rangers have obviously picked up more points at home. Couple of defeats in there. Who have they gone under to? Forest, obviously, recently, and Birmingham. The only recent away win from QPR was at Bristol City, who lost 8 on the trot at home or 7 on the trot at home, didn't they? So, some sense that Rangers aren't necessarily the best team. We also know that Coventry aren't the best away team as well. If we look at that and see them at the bottom of the table, oh goodness. We may as well parlay these into 2 predictions, because I bet if you promised Rotherham fans 4 points from the 2 games, they would be very, very pleased. Let's have a look at some of your predictions on this one. What have we got here? Right. Okay. QPR, draw. QPR. Draw. Rotherham, surprise win. Away. QPR, draw. QPR. Warney already said he will make a lot of changes. I'll go draw. A win for the R's beats our best points total from last season. Nice. Rangers, Rotherham, draw. Rangers. Now, you lot are quite heavy on Rangers in there in the chat. Because I pretty much, well, you tell me, I suspect we're sticking a fork in Rotherham if they don't win any of these games this week, aren't we? And saying, look, it's done. There's a gap, especially if they lose to Coventry. And, you know, that gap is add 3 onto Cov as well. I will draw. I'm going to go for a draw. I don't want it. I don't want this week to be entirely in vain for Rotherham. And with that being said, let's jump straight on to Rotherham versus Coventry on Thursday. So sorry, guys, you're going to have to do it all over again, please. In the chat now, Rotherham v Coventry on Thursday. Just give me Rotherham, draw, or Coventry. Remember, I cannot give you form or a league table for Rotherham versus Coventry because Rotherham play before that as well. We're not normally in this position where we're having to do 2 games for one team. I can bring up the current league table as it pertains to Coventry because they're not going to play in between. So, I mean, that sums it up, doesn't it? When you see the 2 sides linked together. All I can help you with is that Rotherham are going to have played a game more by then. Coventry aren't. Rested or rusty or whatever, you tell me. Rotherham could have 39 points by then. They could have 36 or they could have 37. Coventry will definitely have 42. And as of today, Rotherham have the worst home record in the league and Coventry have the fewest points accumulated away in the league. Dear oh me. Is it possible for both of them to lose? In terms of form, we haven't spoken about Coventry. We've spoken a lot about Rotherham. Just that one win in there in the last 5 against Bristol City, who seem to have been the go-to boys for a win recently, don't they? Goodness me. So hard to call. Maybe we should have done it as a joint one. I'm going to go to your predictions. I don't have a clue. So Rotherham, draw, or Coventry. And yes, I understand there's a lot of intangibles that we don't know now that we would know tomorrow. But I can't do a prediction show for one game. So we got to put it in here tonight. Right. What are we saying here? Okay. Draw, Cov, draw, Rotherham, draw, Cov, draw, Rotherham. Good pattern there. Draw, Rotherham, draw, home, Rotherham, Coventry, not Rotherham, Cov, draw. Can't predict until I've seen it. It's hard work, isn't it, Chris? But we got to do it. Coventry, Sam, speaking my language, unhelpful draw. Callum, huge game, worse home team v worse away team, 1-0 Cov. Look, you know me. I'm always the one for the narrative. So here comes my joker. Home. I just want the cat amongst the pigeons. So I'm going to predict that Rotherham are going to get 4 points from the 2. So if we bring the table back up, if that happens, Rotherham would have 40 from 39 games. We've predicted Huddersfield to get nothing against Bournemouth, and Coventry would have 42 from 41. And everything would be a lot more tight than it is at the moment. We've also predicted today that Wednesday are going to go up to 36 with a draw against Swansea. So, look, probably the most tricky prediction of the season, given there's literally enough that could happen in between for us to not really have a clue what's going on. Right, let's do some Q&A then, guys. Being we've only got 4 games. Bring up your topics and I will answer as many as we can. We'll stay on for a little while longer. Miss my draw. I love a good draw. See, that's what you don't see when I put the picture up. Me yelling up away from the camera so it doesn't peak. Right, questions in, topics, and we will crack on with all of that. Reminder, we'll do the review show. Will not now happen until... Oh, no, we'll do a review show tomorrow. And then we're going to do the watch-along for Coventry and Rotherham, obviously, on Thursday night. Right, let's do some questions. Do you think Spurs will beat Man City in the League Cup final? Spurs and Man City... No, I don't. Although I'd find it quite funny because Mourinho just makes me laugh. Opinions on Lord Lee Bowyer. Well, he's done brilliantly, Kieran, so far. Incredible turnaround, simplified the football, and I think Birmingham look very, very viable and safe. So, yeah, big high on Lee Bowyer. Keep them coming. I'll go as quick as I can. Bissouma, ready for a top 6 team. He plays for Brighton. I'd have to plead the fifth a little bit, Kathy. I haven't seen enough of him, but I know he's very, very highly rated. 3 teams to go down to League One. Don't sit on the fence. Look, let's get off this sit on the fence thing. If a question is too hard to answer, I won't give you an answer. And I can't give you an answer on Rotherham until they've played the next 3 games. How do I feel about Mark Ashton's departure? Well, from an Ipswich Town fan point of view, which is where he's going to end up after May the 31st, I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited about the whole thing and the whole structure now at Ipswich. I'm seeing a lot of what I'd call anecdotal whining, basically, from Bristol City fans, and not a lot of actual, right, this is, it just sounds like football fans whining a lot of it. But if any Bristol City fans want to give me any thing that's more than anecdotal in terms of numbers or operational decisions or what have you, at the moment, if you're an Ipswich fan at your lowest point in 60 years, you'll happily swap for what Bristol City have done over the last 5 years in terms of a huge promotion from League One, good recruitment, stadium being built up, turnover increased. Okay, they've had a crappy season this season. But if you're an Ipswich fan, which is the important thing, you would quite happily swap. Do you think the bottom 3 will stay the same in the Premier League? Looks like it now, doesn't it? Do you think Sarr will stay at Watford if they get promoted? If so, how much do you think he's worth? I think Sarr and Buendia are both over 35, 40 million, possibly. Do you think Leicester will bottle top 4? I don't like the term bottle. I think for Leicester to be anywhere near the top 4 is a great achievement. And I think they do absolutely fantastic work. So I'm not going to use the word bottle. If they don't get in, it will be because of some brilliant work from West Ham and maybe Liverpool sneaking back up. Where does Ilias Chair rank among Championship attacking midfielders? He's one of the better ones, isn't he? You see him play live and you think, oh, he's lacking that physicality because he's so small, but obviously a very, very good player. It'd be interesting to see the actual best system for him. Is it inside forward 4-2-3-1 in a 10 over there? Big fan of Chair, though. A lot of good attacking midfielders in the Championship, though, when we talk about particularly Sarr, Buendia, Brooks from those relegated team as well. Favourite Championship manager? and why, if we're talking about the person rather than the football they produce, I just find Neil Warnock very, very, very funny. Do you think Chelsea will win tonight? I've got no idea, Amanda. Who are they playing? It's a European game. Pass. Do you think Wickham could survive, David? No, I don't. I think they are too far gone. Got my table over here. 9 points to make up from 5 games. No. Reading fans are saying if we don't get the playoffs, Pono should go. Baffling if you ask me. I suppose if I parlay that into a question, then no, I don't think he should go. Of course not. They jumped up from 14th into the top 6. Maybe now they're in a position as well, Reading, where they can actually trend upwards for a few seasons. They might have to sell Elise and bank the money to get around the FFP. But no, Paunovic, of course, shouldn't go. Not a question, just a fact. Benjamin Bloom is a legend. I'll drink to that. Lee, as a rudderless ship, do you think Blade's in danger of struggling next year? I'll bring the thing up, Lee, that I always bring up with relegated Premier League teams. It's about stability and avoiding chaos, isn't it? One thing that works well in Blade's favour is, and I've said this a lot, who's going to go out, really? They're not going to be pillaged for an entire team. Maybe Berger and O'Connell, I think, might get sold. I think they should have a good enough squad. It's just about getting that appointment and getting a nice, stable, unchaotic summer through, isn't it, Lee? But great to have you back. Good. It could be we could get Norwich and Sheffield United confirmed. Switch of Rooney at the weekend. Do you think Mark Ashton will be a success at Ipswich? I don't see in the short term, if all we're hearing, Anir, is true, in League One terms, it shouldn't be hard for him to be a success. But define success, because talking about this big hedge fund and all of that money coming in, will he get Ipswich to where Bristol City are now, where they're a viable level below the parachute teams? I don't know. We'll see. But in context as well, Ipswich are one of the few teams who haven't moved to the actual structure of having this guy in that position as well. So it's all feels like Ipswich finally moving into the modern era. What are my expectations for Paul Cook at Ipswich? Well, Paul Cook's a bit grumpy at the moment because he wasn't told about all this structure stuff. So I won't comment too much because we just want him to get his feet under the table. But if you're asking, no, they're not going to go up this season. They're not good enough. So poorly coached. But yeah, if you add in Mark Ashton, Paul Cook, and a ton of money into a League One squad, my expectations are that Paul Cook should get promotion next season. What are my thoughts on Trezeguet being out for at least a year? Is he? That's terrible news if he is. The Villa forward, I didn't know that, Kafir. But yeah, terrible news if that's true, and good luck to him. Super Reds for the Premier League, Tony. It just depends on Bournemouth now, doesn't it? When you look at those playoffs, you've essentially got Bournemouth who could trend up, and if they continue for the next 5 games, could be the form team in there. Barnsley are fantastic and horrible to play against, aren't they? With the pressing and the just incessant way that they peg you back into your own half as well. And then you got Swansea and Brentford, and that old conundrum of, can you take a team who was trending heavily upwards in the middle but flatlined a bit and go again in the playoffs? So it's a very, very difficult one. Sorry, Reading fans, I didn't mention you in that conversation either. Who's coming up from League One? Hull, Peterborough, and Sunderland or Blackpool in the playoffs, I suspect. 3 relegated to the Championship. This, I think it's done, isn't it? Blades will be done by the weekend. Very hard for Big Sam. Too little, too late there. And it looks like Parker's done at Fulham because Steve Bruce has won a couple of games. So looks like the 3 that are there. Both Luton and Watford criticising the referee Ward. The joys of referee Ward. Yeah, I mean, it's not referee Stroud or referee Langford, is it? So, yeah, good luck. Ward was the guy who gave the penalty late on to Swansea and didn't give the goal that Mark Bollas scored as well. Yeah, he had a terrible game, didn't he? Will Big Sam do the impossible? Ridley and Guy West Brom to safety? I don't think so. No, I think they're just a little bit too far back. But Big Sam will then argue that had he been there all season, they would have stayed up. And Big Sam will be right, because if you look at the points per game, probably they may have got to the point per game by the time Sam's finished this season. Ideal first game back for you to attend, but not Ipswich. Playoff final. Yeah, playoff final would be amazing. Steve, it's just going to be so hard to get in there, and accreditation is always difficult at Wembley because they're so oversubscribed. Oh, God, favourite movie? Probably Edward Scissorhands, Nat, because I was a young kid and I was on a ferry and I snuck in and I was not old enough to watch it. And I must have been very young, actually. And it was Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, and just magical, absolutely magical. Always remember Edward Scissorhands. How was the haircut? I think delightful, don't you, Alistair? What's gone wrong for Sheffield United this season? I'll answer that in a full 20, 30-minute video when they're relegated. Yeah, well, I agree with that. And will Wayne? Why can't I say will Wayne Rooney take Derby back to the promised land? I don't know that he will, but I think they'll be much higher up in the table than they are this season. Just got to get over the line. Now, best defensive midfielders in the Championship. I suppose someone playing in central mid double pivot. Skip for Norwich. Mowat for Barnsley. Hughes for Watford. Grimes. Norgard, although he hasn't been there often enough. Billing doesn't count, does he? As a pair, Laurent and Rinomota, brilliant at Reading as well. Dewsbury Hall, do you class him as a defensive midfielder? I don't know. Some really good ones in there. Hello, Benjamin. You remember me? You don't remember me, do you? Ethan, are Wednesday all but down if they fail to win today? 35 points, 5 to go. If they lose today, yes. Maybe a draw. Maybe a draw, and we'll see. Sam, supposing Brentford, Watford and Norwich go up, rank them in terms of how high up the Premier League table they would finish. I would think Norwich would finish the highest. Probably Watford on experience I'd then have. And Brentford, if they got up, they might have to do a Norwich and say, okay, here we are. Bank the money and, elevate and come back stronger. So I'd go Norwich, Watford, Brentford, I think. Thoughts on Eric Alonso and him talking about foreign scouting market? Lewis, you probably know more about Eric Alonso than me, the new Derby owner. My thoughts are normally as when anyone takes a club over is good luck and let's hope that things work out well for Derby, who are a mighty club, but slumbering a little bit in terms of their normal position. Where will Kieran Dale be next year? I think he'll be retained by Norwich. So I think he'll be in the Premier League. Man United for the Premier League? No, miles away, aren't they? Am I doing a watch long for Bournemouth, Huddersfield? I am not, Alistair. I've got to cover AFC Wimbledon versus Ipswich. So if you want to talk to me, I'll be online about 8:30 on the Blue Monday channel tonight. The plant is looking lovely. Yes, it is. Could be a 14, 15 repeat promotions. Yes, absolutely. Where will Chris Wilder end up? Great question. Newcastle? Steve Bruce doesn't like it. Looks like Howe's going to go to Celtic, doesn't it? Celtic and Newcastle look like the sort of big jobs. I don't know. You just wonder whether Cooper might end up at Sheffield United. I don't know. There's going to be a merry-go-round, isn't it? Do you think that Tottenham fans are right to criticise Jose Mourinho, considering he has won as many major trophies as Tottenham in their existence? Well, I'm sure Tottenham fans won't care how many trophies Mourinho's won outside of Tottenham, but it's always hard when you talk about Tottenham and then making up that gap, and especially if they sell Kane. But pass. Anyone's got the right to criticise anybody as long as they're not personal. Put it that way. Watch Silence of the Lambs on a. Oh God, dearie me, Mike. Will Norwich need to buy some Premier League qualities players? Yes, times 1,000. Krull is good enough. Aarons is obviously good enough, but they may have done a deal to sell him. Gibson for a Premier League season. Gibson and Hanley. Giannoulis, we'll give him a go. Okay, he's just going to be arriving. Can they get Skip back? McLean in a good team, maybe. Buendia, of course, yeah, fine. Pookie, fine. But yeah, they need some help, don't they? And if they sell one of Aaron's or Buendia, I think they should break their transfer record. Not just saying that throwing money around it left and right. But Mr. Farker deserves some good players, doesn't he? Bielik, absolutely, yeah, great player in central midfield. Championship player of the year is Buendia, isn't it? It's fairly obvious. What else have we got? Man City will win the league. Yeah, they're miles away, aren't they? How's not going to Celtic, is he? As he said, he wouldn't go anywhere till the summer. I'm under the impression he is, but I could be wrong about that. Prime Ronaldo or prime Messi? I love both. Last question. Do you meditate? You have a great vibe. No, I don't. My mind tends to go 10 to the dozen, so keeping it still for half an hour doesn't particularly much. I struggle with that. How will Fulham do in the Championship next season, Ben? Well, if they keep Mitrovic, you're in the top 6 pretty much straight away, aren't you? I think Parker will still be there. I think they'll keep him, and they'll only get rid of him if they're struggling by Christmas. That normal thing should be challenging, you would think. And again, I'll repeat for the 5 millionth time: get relegated, avoid chaos, keep as much as you can, and make the advantages count, and you should be fine. Fulham get relegated and Hodgson leaves Palace. Could you see Parker getting the Palace job? Possibly. Yeah, possibly. I just wonder whether they might go a little bit more, I wouldn't say higher caliber, that feels a bit patronising to Parker, but more experienced, I think. That has been their modus operandi. Which Coventry player would you take at Ipswich if value wasn't an issue? Well, Gus Hamer would be wonderful. God, in League One, Walker or Godden would score a hatful, wouldn't they? So McCallum, if Norwich would let us have him. No, he's a Norwich player anyway, isn't he? But there we go. Where do Watford need to improve if they go up to the Prem? I'm not entirely sure, actually. They feel quite balanced, Watford. Obviously, Sarr is fabulous, isn't he? And better than a lot of their players. Maybe just bring the average age down a little bit. I don't know. Although the average age isn't terrible, is it? I don't know. I really don't know there, Jamie. It'd have to be. I wouldn't think they would go mad. Keep Sarr and then sort of 2 or 3 dotted around the team. But manager of the year, it's difficult because you don't know whether Barnsley are going to go up. If Barnsley go up, it should be Ishmael based on expectations. If not, it needs to be Farker from Norwich. But we won't know. So it probably needs to be Farker because we won't know about Ishmael, presumably until after the playoffs are done. Do you think Stoke will be in FFP trouble? Yes. They're going to look for a big clear out at Stoke. And yeah, we'll see what the accounts say, John, at the end of next season. Fig rolls, yes or no? It's a yes from me. I'm afraid this Fulham up down thing is getting boring. I'm sure the Fulham fans would agree with you as well. Best stadium you've ever been to except Wembley. The San Siro in Milan to watch Ipswich Town play. Joy, will West Brom get out of the bottom 3? No, don't think so. How do I think Watford will do in the Prem? Bottom 6, I think, but you never know. You never know. There's always someone who could be. It's going to be a difficult one, isn't it? I'd love Bannon at Blues, and considering how much he is anti-Blues and a Villa fan, is how much I rate him. There you go. Best Championship stadium, as in favourite or best? I mean, I love the atmosphere down at Millwall. Always nice and loud there. Coldest one's definitely Stoke, isn't it? I've never been to Wickham or the new Brentford one, so I can't comment. What I will say is when you go to Rotherham, there's no bad viewing. You're that close in. So I quite like Rotherham as well. Which team would you support if Ipswich didn't exist? MK Dons or Luton from where I live now. If they got liquidated tomorrow, I guess. Anyone you fancy to win the playoffs right now? On current form, it's Bournemouth or Barnsley, isn't it? Sophie asks as well. You just don't know whether Brentford are now going to go on another run with this 3 at the back system, do you? Maradona or Pele? I was always a Maradona fan. I always liked the bad boy narrative. Birmingham next season, well, should improve basically. Don't expect them to shoot up the table rapidly, but reason to be a bit more excited than this. Already given my thoughts on Mark Ashton. Aidan, you can spool back for that one. Best dearly departed stadium. You're not going to like my answer because I love Villa Park equally as I love Elland Road. So agree with you about the San Siro. Yeah, what a stadium. They knocked it down yet. I know they're going to knock it down. Where would you rank the Rico? I've never been, Callum. I've never been to the Rico. I've driven past a million times on the M6 or whatever it is. Worst road rage incident. Right, have we got 2 minutes? I was coming back to Ipswich, actually, up the A12, right? And I pulled over. The A12 is only 2 lanes. And this car comes zooming behind me. So I'm going, obviously, 70, observing the speed limit. And this car zooms up behind me at like 95 miles an hour and comes really close, flashing its lights and everything. So me being me, I'm like, no, I don't play that way. I just sat there in front of him for a long time and then pulled across really slowly. And I thought, okay, he's gonna stick his fingers up at me and then just zoom off into distance. No, he came across in front of me and just literally stayed in front of me and waited for me to overtake him. So I slowed down. And then we get this ridiculous thing. And he did it, I promise you, for about 25 miles. And I'm like, oh, my God, this guy's going to pull out a gun and shoot me or something at the end of this. So, yeah, don't get involved in road rage. The best thing I can say about road rage is look at somebody else having road rage when you're not. And they just look an idiot, don't they? There we go. Marching On Together or Greasy Chip Butty. Oh, dear. That's too much, Alex. I love both of them. Both great songs and both great ways to start a stadium. Think West Brom will finish above Fulham? It's possible now, isn't it? The trend says that's the way it's going, so we'll see. Swansea or Cardiff? Absolutely not going to comment on that at all, Iain. I always get accused of bias against either of them. Messi, the best of all time? Yeah, possibly. So difficult to judge, isn't it? Bristol City next season under Pearson. Depends on the recruitment, Annie, doesn't it? Depends on the recruitment. It feels like the recruitment excellence has stalled a little bit and flatlined now, hasn't it? So Borough's, yeah, you're right. Borough is freezing, isn't it? West Brom to do the Great Escape. I think it's too little, too late. Best festival. I haven't done Glastonbury, so obviously I'm a Suffolk boy, so I like Latitude a lot. Reading for rock, I think, although people find it a bit corporate, don't you? Can you name me the players from Barnsley who are ready for the Premier League? That's a good question. I mean, individual players is difficult because none of them have been there, have they? Barely. Moa, if he signs a new contract. Woodrow will give it a go. Styles, Britain. But it's more about the team and the pattern of players. Very easy to argue that Barnsley don't have the players ready for the Premier League. But, you know, right. Oh, keep them coming, guys. I'm trying my best. Where does Sambalonga end up next season? Bristol City, I think, doesn't he? What else have we got to go? Wednesday have 6 to go. Yes, I know they do, but we were talking about if they lose, they would have 5 to go. Who created the Benjamin Bloom Clips page? That was our lovely Russell. Yes, you can go and subscribe to the Benjamin Bloom Clips page now, which is not me waffling for an hour at a time and small clips. Red sauce or brown? Red. Best live gig? AC/DC, maybe. Blur at Hyde Park. AC/DC, I think, at the O2, because I've waited to see them for ages and ages. Leeds or Sheffield United? Not answering that. Even as a Millwall fan, marching on together is something special. Best dearly departed manager? You just always say nice things about Leeds, don't you? Waghorn to be at Derby next season. If he's not, and there's money at Ipswich, get him back, Ridley. Get him back. Speed quizzing. Yeah, you love it. Are you mates with the Darkness guys? Now, do you know, I've never met them. I have never met them. I think they were, they just predated me on the scene by a few years. How do you pronounce I suppose I answer it by how I say it. Scones, I think. Opinions on Ashton Gate. Where would you rank it amongst stadiums? Yes, lovely. Ashton Gate. Just the away stand now that's a bit tatty, but the travel in is not great, is it? But yeah, lovely. Love to sit in that main stand as well. Great view. Will Ajaria, Elise Zhao all be playing in the Premier next season? I'm not sure any of them will, Alex, because Elise might go abroad, mightn't him? Zhao, I don't think yet, and Ajaria maybe in a season's time. But yeah, I think Elise might be out of Reading if they don't go up, obviously. Allardyce in the Championship could be very interesting. Well, you would think he would get promoted, wouldn't you, given his experience? Just imagine Barnsley in the Premier League. Well, I've seen Barnsley in the Premier League. 97, 98 or 98, 99, I can't remember. Was in Toronto for an Oasis gig. And a jealous fan hid under the stage and broke his rib. Wow. Favourite sport apart from football? I don't really like any other sports other than football. I'm trying to think. I genuinely only watch football. It's the only sport that I watch at all. Keep your questions coming. All good fun here. Best dearly departed manager. I'm going to swerve that one again. Keep your questions coming. We'll do a few more minutes. Obviously, not 12 games to talk about in the preview this season. Do you think Derby will go down the Lampard road and take some of United? So, yes, I do. I think they want, what's the guy at Forest? Garner already. And obviously, Mengi's been there, hasn't he? So, who is the best workmate, Dean or Jamie? Oh, dear. Jamie. Do you think we're in a very good position to come straight back up? Yes. Yeah, of course. I mean, if you look at the squad, I don't know who goes from West Brom, but Johnston, Ajayi, Furlong, Pereira may have to go, mightn't he? Callum Robinson, Big Sam as well. So, best city for an away day, mine would be London. Best city. I always quite like going to Birmingham, actually. But yeah, so many games in London. The problem is I worked in London, so it's all a bit familiar to me. But I suppose you can go and do the tube and all of that stuff, haven't you? Norwich, best three players this season. Buendia, Pookie and Aarons. Sounds predictable, doesn't it? Do I play golf? No, I'm rubbish. Do you think overall championship standard not great this season? Well, to make a direct comparison, compare it to 18-19, where you had Norwich under Farker, Leeds and Bielsa, Blades under Wilder, Villa with Grealish under Smith, West Brom with Barnes-Gale and Rodriguez, Borough under Pulis, and Derby with Lampard, Mount, Wilson and Tamori. It's not as good as that season, is it? For sure. Allardyce at West Ham in the Championship wasn't nice, but got the job done. Exactly. Probably will again. Thoughts on Paul Warne? Oh, it gets hard, doesn't it, if he gets another relegation now? But you just wonder what other job is he going to get if he gets a third relegation? So could just be Rotherham manager forever, like Dario Gradi was at Crew. When did you start Blue Monday? 2015-16. So it's great. Yeah, we've done great with Blue Monday. Bailly or Lindelof? I've no idea, Farrell. Favourite song to sing live? Oh, crikey. God, too many. No, pass. I don't. Far too many. I always love to sing live. Great. What would it say about the standard of the Championship if Norwich got relegated next season? I don't think it say anything about the standard of the Championship. There's plenty goes on after teams go up. So, no, I don't think you can judge the Championship on what the team does next season. Is that really a serious question? Jesus. Swans don't go up this year. End of parachutes. Years of struggle ahead. Normally makes astute manager appointments, though. Yeah, there's a doomsday scenario. Worst team to finish bottom in the Championship is Rotherham, wasn't it? A couple of years ago, just lost all season, didn't they? Bless them. How do you think England will get on in the summer? Which players do you think Southgate will leave at home and cause uproar. Whoever Southgate leaves at home will cause uproar because that's just England. So I think they'll do okay. I don't think they'll win it, though, which is annoying. Elton John or David Bowie? Oh, God, that's hard. David Bowie, yes, but I love Elton John. But really love David Bowie. Marmite, you having it? No, I'm not. And Shaylee makes Marmite pasta all the time. If Christian Bellick can stay injury-free, how good can he be? Oh, Premier League player for sure, yeah. 35 points with 5 to go. Yes, it was a forecast, Ethan. I think we've got it. Have you ever been to or played at the venue in New Cross? Did that used to be called the New Cross Inn? In which case I have, but there we go. Dickie or Beckenbauer? We'll go for Dickie then, Sam. Why not? Help me out, Ben. I need a new password for work. Try password, Lee. That's all a good one. No idea about Bayern. Couldn't tell you. Prog rock or punk rock? Oh, God. Like, prog rock's the most uncool thing in the world, so I better say punk rock, although I quite like Yes, actually. Thomas Frank to stay if Brentford don't go up. It would depend how they didn't go up, Jack. If they fail miserably, then fade off over the last games. If they get close, no, I think he stays. Do I think Mings is good enough for England? Yes, I do. Yeah, and as a left-footed centre half, well, you tell me who's. I know Maguire plays there, but it's not left-footed, is he? So, yeah, he's good enough for the squad. Yeah. Do you see a pattern of yo-yo clubs going up and down several times? I hope not. And if that happens, that means they haven't sorted out the stupid wealth distribution problems that they have now. So, yeah, I hope not. But, yeah, if they're serious and Rick Parry's serious about sorting the wealth distribution, then we'll see. That's next door to it. No, I haven't played it then. Britain or Cafu? Stop it, Liam. Chelsea versus Porto tonight. What was the score in the first leg? Was it 1-1? I'll go Chelsea and Tuchel. We'll go for that. Do I fancy Ipswich for the playoffs? No, not at all, Jerry. Next season, please. Callum O'Hare or Ilias Chair? Good comparison, that actually. Just Chair, but O'Hare's very good and, we'll probably reach his level soon enough. Will Bayern make a comeback on PSG? No, I don't think they will. I think the champions are going out. Favourite live venue to play? Used to love the older story of Tottenham Court. What's the one, the Carlin one we used to do in Islington? I used to love playing there. Do you know what? For you Norwich people, I used to love playing Norwich Arts Centre as well. That's a real favourite of mine. Cambridge Junction as well. Best captain in the Championship. Richard Wood seems to have been there forever, doesn't he? There you go, Amanda and Sophie on the same page. I am pro VAR, but they need to do a hell of a lot of improvements to the wordings of the law. I'm pro the principle of it, but it's being executed so badly at the moment. What's more likely, the 3 relegated teams go up this season or the 3 promoted teams go down? Oh, that's a good question. I think what's more likely is the 3 relegated teams go up. What else have we got here? Other than Ipswich, which lower league team would you like to see in the Championship over the next couple of years? Lincoln, I think, would be good fun. They always have quite a lot of fans. For the channel, obviously, Sunderland would be great as well because they're just way too big for League One, aren't they? Pompey as well, but that's being selfish, isn't it? MK Dons or AFC Wimbledon? Well, obviously, Ipswich are playing AFC Wimbledon tonight, and they played MK Dons at the weekend. So we'll go for MK Dons then. On the parachute thing, Albion haven't finished below 6th in the Championship since 2000. Us and Norwich have been yo-yo clubs even before parachutes and big money got involved. Yeah, true. Just parachutes have made it worse now, haven't they? Do you think Callas will leave in the summer? Yeah, it might do, mightn't he? Depends on the finances, but yeah, could certainly cash in, couldn't they? I hadn't thought about that, actually. Do you think EFL should tighten up with owner checks too? I mean, apparently they do, don't they? But it hasn't worked. Let's just say that for every Wigan, there are plenty of takeovers that go fine. But yeah, Charlton and Sheikh Khaled, DJ Khaled didn't get through. Oh, dental abscesses. That doesn't sound good, Oliver. What do we got? Islington Assembly. Was it? It's the one in the shopping mall, the Carlin Academy thing. Great. Yeah, we don't hold your fire on that. That could happen, but yeah, exactly. VAR works, but the rules don't. We'll go a little bit more. Dark matter or string theory? Pass. Don't know what either. Do you think Norwich will go straight back down again? No, I don't think they do this time. Favourite match this season? Crikey. I can tell you what the worst one was. It was Barnsley versus Derby. That was horrifically bad, wasn't it? And Derby versus Watford and Huddersfield versus Cardiff. I remember going mental in all of those. I think my favourite one was probably Bournemouth 4, Reading 2, and Reading were 2 up at half time. Name a player that you associated when I say Championship stalwart. Luke Chambers, Richard Keogh. There you go. Which team is on the beach in the Championship for the remaining games? Stoke, Luton, maybe QPR. Not sure how Sheffield United go straight back up after being relegated this season. How they go straight back up is mitigate any chaos, make the right, easier said than done, make the right managerial hire and not go mental on the recruitment. How good would we view Joseph soon now if he chose to go to Leeds instead of Derby? No. I don't think he would have found his way into that team. But I think what you're asking really is, would Bielsa have turned him into a player? But playoff final or FA Cup final? Playoff final for me, but I'm Championship vlogger, aren't I? I love, yes, there you go. Even Siberia. Hoping to go to the army. Oh, good luck with that, Lewis. And yeah, you're a braver man than me. Do you think McLean is good enough for the Premier League? I don't know, Joe. I don't know. In a good team, I think so. But Norwich are going to have to be ruthless with certain players. So we'll see. Skipper McLean at the moment. That may be changed, wasn't it? What else are we going? World Cup or Euros? World Cup. That's when I fell in love with football. Italian 90, wasn't it? Worst match this season, yeah, 100%. Barnsley Derby. That's horrific, wasn't it? Where do I think Steph Johansson will be playing next season? Hopefully QPR for you Rangers fans. I think he will be at QPR next season, won't he? Opinion on Helder Costa? Like him very much, yeah. Although he's got Rafinha and Harrison ahead of him on the wings. Burnley need to snatch Lundstrom. Well, the contract's up, isn't it? Do you think another centre-half, Malone and a striker, Mill will challenge top 6 next year? It's the striker, isn't it? Yeah, forget the other centre-half. Get that striker in. But, yeah, of course I can. Guess the stadium in my profile picture. The Kian Prince Foundation Stadium. There we go. Best Ipswich player in the last 10 years. Am I allowed to include loanees? The best Ipswich player who wasn't a loanee in the last 10 years was Daryl Murphy, who scored 27 goals in the 14-15 season, or Tyrone Mings or Aaron Cresswell over the last 10 years. Dogs or cats? Dogs, because Shaylee's allergic to cats. Thoughts on Marcus Mattheson quitting? Has he quit? Waste of talent, in the words of David Brent there. Which young player in the Championship you think could go furthest in the game? Max Aarons probably could be like a top international for years and years and years, couldn't he? Worst match, Birmingham Millwall. At least it was partly obscured by the fog. What do I think of Jacob Sorensen? I hate to say it, Joe. If he's in the Norwich first team next season, either he's had a massive, massive rise or Norwich haven't recruited well enough. I think he goes out on loan from Norwich next season. But done great, hasn't he, filling at left back? I wonder what Ryan Brewster does next season. Yeah, it should be great, shouldn't he? Right. We've done an hour. Thank you for all the questions. Let me know if you want to shout out before we go. I haven't done a Q&A like that for ages. Brilliant stuff from you lot. Really enjoyed it. We got our predictions in earlier in the show. Sorry, been speaking too fast and drinking water as I've gone. Join me tomorrow, 1 p.m, and we'll do the review of tonight's games. And nothing tomorrow night. Then on Thursday, Dearly Departed preview, and then Rotherham Coventry watch along. And then it's the weekend, isn't it? preview on Friday at 1, Reading Cardiff at 6, Saturday Super Stream, and possibly Bournemouth versus Norwich. We'll see what's happening. I might be going to see my dear old father. Then let's say some thank yous. Annie, Leeds 2021, Mike, Robert, me, Jamie and Dean. Sorry. Who did I say? Sorry to whoever I missed out. Can't remember who I said. You are welcome, Liam, Sam, you're welcome, Steve and Mel. Right. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And it is a lovely big... And look, I'm wearing the same jumper as I am in the advert. So even though I might be a little bit fatter now, this is going to be a beautiful seg. Let me try and get in the same position. Oh, no, the table's in a different position. Anyway, check this smooth seg out in the same jumper. Over and out. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.